Hello students. Yesterday we had discussed the chapter 3rd. We had completed chapter 3rd. And today we will start with the next chapter, and that is sorting material into groups. So before we go further, we should know what is sorting. The term is there, sorting. What is sorting? So when we talk about the sorting, if you see in a library there are a large number of a book, and not only large number of book, but these books are of a different subject, like that of the English or a Hindi or a maths or a science. As well as within these subject there are books that of a different author or different publisher. But you see that these books, they are arranged subject wise, or like that of the English book, they are arranged together in one section, or a science book which is on another section. Now again, the English book is also arranged as a fiction or a non-fiction. Okay, so what is this? We are seeing, or we are arranging the books in the similarities. Okay, we are checking that what is the similarity between the two. Okay, whether that is related to the subject, that whether the subject is similar, or within the subject whether the author or the publisher are the similar. So you see that the similarity, it help us to arrange things in a same group, and the difference, they it will help the arranged group in a different group. If books are similar, or if things are similar, if materials are similar, then it will be very easy for us to keep them or to arrange them in a certain group. Okay, and this systematic arrangement of the things on the basis of some certain similarities or differences, that is known as a sorting. So here you see that basically what we are doing, we are arranging the things on the basis of their similarity or differences, or we are classifying the object on the basis of its similarity or its difference. So we can see that sorting is also known as classification. Okay, so we can define it as a sorting material into groups, or classifying material into groups. And how can we classify? On the basis of their similarity, or on the basis of their differences. So we can see, you can see here that many things, it can be made from the same material, and the process of the sorting or a grouping thing according of some basis, that is the classification. The basis is the similarity or the difference in their properties. Now when we classify the thing, what is the actual advantages of the classification? When we talk about the advantages of the classification, advantages of the classification, you see here. So what is the first advantage? The classification of the object into group make it easier to locate itself. Okay, to locate them or to work with them. If suppose an object or is classified, or a group of an object is classified according to their behavior or similarity, so it will be very easier to locate them as well as work with them. So the first one is easier to locate and work with them. The second thing, it will be if the object is classified into group, it makes us to understand them. So it helps in understanding them. because we are knowing the properties, we are knowing from which this member belong. So whatever be the property of that particular group will help us to understand that why this object is kept in that particular group, or what is the behavior or nature of that particular object which is placed in a group. So it help in understanding them, as well as it help in easier to locate or work with them. So these are the advantages of the classifying an object. Now we will see that the object they have to classify so that it will be easy for us to differentiate between them or differentiate their properties. We are classifying the object on the basis of their similarities or differences, due to which we will be able to understand them properly. So now what is the basis of the classification of the object, or how these objects are classified, on what kind of a similarity or dissimilarity. Okay, so the basis or the various object, it can be classified on the basis of the three things, like living or the non-living, that whether the object which we are classifying, it is living object or it is a non-living object. The second thing, okay, if it is a living, if suppose that object is a living, then how these living object is further classified, like in the that of the plant or animal, whether that particular living object belongs to the plant or whether that particular living object belongs to the animal. There are other examples, or where there are other bases of the classifying the object, like nature of the material, or the use, or the color, shape or size, or we can say the appearance. Okay, as well as whether the object is a hard or soft, or texture, or many things are there. Okay, whether the object is a transparent, whether the object is a translucent or opaque. So it totally different, the classifying is vary, classifying of the object, it really varies, okay, with that of the living object or the non-living object. Now see here, these classification of the size or the shape or appearance, it is on the basis of the non-living object. If object is a non-living object, so how these non-living object is further classified. Now if we see the classification of an object as a living or a non-living, so we should know that all the living objects, they need food, they need water and air for their survival. Whereas if you see in case of a non-living object, they do not require these things. It means there are certain properties of the living object which make them differ from the non-living object. It depends that living object need food, they move, except that of the plants, they need water, or they need air. There are a lot more things, they can respire. Okay, so these all objects, they need all these kind of things, and by this we can say these object belongs to a living objects. Okay, but in case of a non-living object, like that of a table, chair, or a toy, or a cloth, or a pencil, all these things, you see, they do not need a food or water, or they do not grow. Okay, so we can say these belongs to the non-living object. So living object, it is classified as a man, living thing, a flower, or a butterfly, or a dog, or a small plant, or a tree. Okay, there are a lot more, like grasshopper, like earthworm, like tree, like a fish, or a algae, a hydrilla. All these things are classified into living object or a living thing. Whereas a non-living thing, a beaker is there, a cloth is there, or a toy is there, or a book is there, or a pen is there, or a knife, or a pencil, wool, all these things are considered as a non-living thing. Now, if we go further, we find that the living object, they are consisting of plants and the animals. Okay, so again, when we classify the living object as a plant and animal, we see that plant, there are some properties which makes the plant differ from that of the animal. And what kind of a property is it? That all the plants, they make their own food by using carbon dioxide, water and sunlight, or we can say by the process of photosynthesis. But if you see in animals, they cannot perform photosynthesis by using carbon dioxide, water and sunlight. So in this way, the plant, they can prepare their food on its own or by its own. But in case of an animal, they cannot make their food. Okay, so by this we can differentiate between the, or we can classify the living object into the plant and the animals. Okay, now see here, the examples of the plant is the rose or the jasmine or the hydrilla, while that of the animal like dog or a fish or earthworm, these are the examples of the plant and the animal, and the classification is on the basis that how a plant is able to prepare food but the animals, they cannot. Now again, we had discussed about that living and non-living. They are classified on the basis of their characteristics. Again, the living object is classified on the basis of the plant and animals due to some differences between them. Now we will talk about the classification of the non-living object, okay, on the basis of their material. Or when we talk about the material, we are talking that the material of which they are made up of, and we can classify them on the basis on their texture, on the basis of their appearance, like what is the color, what is the shape, or what is the size of that particular material, as well as it also we can also distinguish between the different type of a non-living object on the basis of their uses. Okay, so their structure and their uses, they help us to classify the materials of the non-living object. Now, if you see, some of the objects are there which are non-living, but they are made up of a wood. Okay, so table, chair, or a bed, or a door. All these are the non-living. They are showing the properties of a non-living object, but they are classified on the basis of that it is made up of a wood, or it is consisting of a wood. Now again, if you see, there are some objects which are made up of metal. They all are non-living, but they are made up of a metal, like that of the nail, iron nail. It is not talking about the human nail. Here it is iron nail, okay, or a magnet, or a coin, or a utensils. All these things are made up of a metal. Magnet is also a kind of a metal, or a coin that is made up of a silver, or it is a gold coin, or it can be a copper one. Okay, utensils, it is made up of a copper also, it is made up of a silver also, or a aluminium also. Okay, steel also. So these all objects are made up of a metal. If you see, in case of a glass, there are some of the objects which are made up of a glasses. Now, like that of a mirror, it is made up of a glass, or a beaker that we use in a lab in which we prepare the solution. Okay, or a test tube in which we perform the certain experiment. So all these things, or a funnel is there. Oh, so all these things, these all things are made up of a glass, or the object which is made up of a plastic. So there are a lot of things which are made up of a plastic, like that of a toy or a mug or a chair. A lot of things are made up of a plastic. So by this you can see these all are the four groups, and these all are non-living objects. They are having the characteristic of a non-living object, but they are classified on the basis of a certain things which makes them differ from each other. So this is the classes or the basis of the classification or grouping of the object. By the help of this example, we are able to understand. Now, if the question is that find the odd one out of the following, and the first one here it is given a chair or a bed, table, baby, and cupboard, and we have to find the odd one. So we know that the chair, bed, table, and cupboard, these all are the non-living object. These are the non-living object which is made up of a wood. Okay, whether it is a chair, a bed, or table, or a cupboard. While if you see baby, so baby is a living object. Okay, so by this we can choose the odd one is the baby, since baby is a living object and these all are the non-living object. Thus the baby will be the odd one out of the following. If you see the second one, okay, if you see the second one, is the rose, jasmine, boat, marigold, and lotus. So it will be very easy for us to understand that we know that the rose is a flower, jasmine is a flower, marigold is a flower, and lotus is also flower, and all these are belongs to a group, and that is plants or living object. Okay, but in case of a boat, boat is made up of a wood, but it is a non-living object. So by this we can understand these all belongs to the living group, or these all belongs to a group that is plant, but that of the boat is a non-living object. So with the help of this, I think you have understood that what is the how the plant and animal, or how the objects are classified.